Appreciate the upgrade, darling. Ethan smirked as he swaggered into the living room, flicking his sunglasses onto the coffee table. Dressed in a sharp suit and gleaming new shoes, he looked every bit the man who thought he owned the room, his luggage stamped with luxury labels spilling evidence of his indulgence. First-class flights, 5-star hotels, finally, the life I deserve, Sarah. I couldn't help it, I burst out laughing. His grin faltered. What's so funny? Oh, Ethan, I said, shaking my head, you truly have no idea what you've done. My name is Sarah, I'm 34, a cybersecurity specialist, and for 7 years I've been married to a man who was less partner and more polished. Red flag. Ethan had always been the charmer, the visionary with grand ideas, while I was the one anchoring reality, holding down a steady career and quietly funding our lives. I ignored the red flags, the hidden finances, the constant excuses, the way he hopped from scheme to scheme. I wanted to believe we were a team. Then, last week at 2 a.m., he made the one mistake he couldn't talk his way out of. I'd been asleep upstairs when he crept down to my laptop. He waited until I was out cold, then opened my files, copied my credit card details, snapped pictures, and slipped back into bed like nothing had happened. By morning, my phone lit up with alerts, nearly $50,000 charged overnight, designer clothes, luxury watches, first-class tickets to Paris. My stomach dropped, but then the realization hit me, Ethan hadn't just stolen from me, he'd stolen from a dummy account tied to my cybersecurity training program. Every purchase he made was automatically flagged and reported to the authorities. He'd practically gift-wrapped his own downfall. I called my lawyer, Chloe. You won't believe this, I said, explaining what happened. She laughed so hard she had to pause. He used the training card, the one built to catch fraud? Exactly, I replied, calm but satisfied. Clever, she snorted. No, idiotic. Every charge he makes is already logged. Have the investigators reached out yet? Not yet, I said, but they will. For the rest of the week, I watched in silence as Ethan lived out his fantasy. He left me a smug note, taking some time for myself. Don't wait up. And sure enough, the alerts rolled in, 5-star restaurants, boutiques, lavish hotels. Each ping felt like another nail in his coffin. 3 days later, I got the call from Agent Keller, the federal investigator on the case. We're tracking significant fraud linked to your account, he said. Do you know who's responsible? Yes, I answered without hesitation. My husband. There was a stunned pause before he replied. Your husband? I explained. Keller let out a low whistle. That's a first. We'll need your statement, but from what we've logged, he's in serious trouble. By the time Ethan started back through the door, bloated with self-importance and dripping in stolen luxuries, I was ready. Thanks for the upgrade, he said with a cocky grin. My laughter bubbled over. What's so funny? He demanded. Oh, Ethan, I said, smiling coldly, you'll see soon enough. He tossed down his designer duffel and shrugged off his jacket. You should have told me about that card ages ago. Imagine the fun we could have had. I crossed my arms. And how exactly did you think this would end? He smirked. Relax, you can afford it. Besides, look how happy it made me. His audacity was almost pitiful. Every word out of his mouth dug him deeper, and I let him talk. Later, while he sang off-key in the shower, I texted Chloe, he's back, ready to move forward. Her response was instant, perfect. I'll alert Agent Keller. 4 days, every charge had been tracked, every indulgence logged, a paper trail of arrogance. Ethan had no clue how close he was to collapse. And as I listened to the water shut off and heard him humming down the hall, I realized I finally felt at peace. 4 years, he'd drained me with charm and empty promises. This time, though, he wasn't getting away. When he stepped out, smug and towel-draped, brandishing a gold watch, he grinned. Paris was a dream. Sarah, the shops, the food, you would have loved it. Sounds unforgettable, I replied, knowing his dream life was about to come crashing down. I repeated, leaning against the doorway. Tell me more. Ethan launched into an elaborate retelling of his spree, champagne on rooftops, designer boutiques, the kind of stories told with sweeping hand gestures and smug pride. Every word was a confession, though he didn't realize it. Meanwhile, my phone, tucked casually on the counter, captured every detail. The file was already set to forward to Agent Keller. And the best part, Ethan said, lifting his wrist to admire the gold watch, nobody suspected a thing, not even you. I smiled to myself. The next morning, Chloe and I met over coffee. "He's toast," she said, scrolling through the growing pile of evidence, the alerts, the transactions, the recording from last night. "Agent Keller's ready, they're coordinating with local police for the arrest." I nodded, the reality of it finally pressing down. "And after that?" "Fraud, identity theft, unauthorized use of financial accounts," she explained. "Given the scale, best case, he cuts a deal. Worst case, he's behind bars for years." For a moment, I wanted to feel sorry for him, but then I remembered the arrogance, the lies, the way he'd paraded his theft like a trophy. That wasn't a mistake, it was who he was. That evening, Ethan lounged on the couch, scrolling his phone, when a firm knock sounded at the door. My pulse quickened, not from fear, but from satisfaction. I opened it to find Agent Keller and 2 officers on the porch. "Good evening, Miss Miller," Keller said evenly. "Is Ethan home?" "He's right inside," I replied, stepping aside. "Please, make yourselves comfortable." Ethan looked up, confusion knitting his brow. "What's going on?" Keller advanced with calm authority. "Ethan Miller, you're under investigation for multiple counts of credit card fraud and unauthorized use of financial accounts. You'll need to come with us for questioning." Ethan's face drained of color. "What? No, this is a mistake. Sarah, tell them." I crossed my arms. "I don't know, Ethan, you've had a busy week. Maybe explain it to them." As the officers read him his rights, his voice grew desperate. "You can't do this, Sarah, you're my wife, you're supposed to stand by me." "Funny," I said coolly, "I thought husbands weren't supposed to steal from their wives. Guess we're both learning something." His glare was sharp but hollow. "You won't get away with this." I smiled. "Oh, Ethan, I already have." The door clicked shut behind him, and the silence that followed was heavy but liberating. He was gone, finally, undeniably gone. Hours later, Chloe called. "He's in with Keller now, already spinning stories." "Let me guess," I said, "playing the victim?" "Exactly, claims you gave him permission, but with the alerts, the receipts, the recording, he doesn't have a prayer." The next morning, Keller confirmed it. "He admitted to using the card, tried to pin the program on you, but the case is solid. He's facing multiple charges. The banks have reversed the purchases, you won't owe a cent." Relief washed over me, sharp and overwhelming. "Thank you," I said. "You don't owe me thanks," Keller replied. "He handed us the case on a silver platter. You just had the foresight to let him." The fallout was swift. Word spread, his carefully crafted image crumbled, and the so-called girlfriend vanished the second she heard about the charges. The designer goods were seized, his accounts frozen, his indulgence stripped away piece by piece. Then, one evening, an unfamiliar number flashed on my screen. Against my better judgment, I answered. "Sarah," came Ethan's voice, low and hollow. I need to talk to you." I laughed. "The only person you should be talking to is your lawyer." "Please," he begged. "I messed up. I didn't mean for it to go this far. I was just what?" I snapped. "Just trying to steal $50,000? Just hoping I wouldn't notice? Just counting on me to keep forgiving you?" Silence. Then, in a broken whisper, "I thought you loved me." My breath caught, anger rising like fire in my chest. "I did, Ethan. I loved who I thought you were, but the man who lied, stole, and laughed in my face, that's not someone I could ever love." Before he could respond, I hung up. A week later, Chloe called with the news. "He took a plea deal, no jail time, but he has to repay every cent, do community service, and his credit's ruined for years." "That sounds right," I said. "He wanted the high life, now he gets to live the opposite." Chloe chuckled. "You're handling this better than most people would." "4 years. I thought Ethan was the one holding us together," I admitted. "Turns out, I was carrying everything. He was just dead weight." When the divorce papers arrived, I poured a glass of wine and sat on the couch that finally felt like mine. Ethan's absence wasn't a loss, it was a gift. I thought of him parading his stolen luxuries, so smug, so certain of his brilliance. Now he was the one paying the price. For the first time in years, I felt free. The apartment was quieter without him, but lighter too. Chloe stopped by with the final paperwork, gave me a knowing smile. "You're not just surviving this, Sarah, you're stronger now." And she was right. This wasn't about money or even divorce, it was about reclaiming myself. When the letter arrived, finalized, irrevocable, I held it for a long moment. I'd once imagined a future with Ethan built on trust. Instead, I'd built something better, a future of my own making. That evening, Lauren came by with wine and takeout. "To new beginnings," she said. I laughed, clinking my glass against hers, "and to never settling for less than I deserve." In the weeks that followed, I redecorated, added color, booked the solo trip I'd always dreamed of. Ethan tried to reach out, emails, half-hearted apologies, even a letter, but I never replied. He wasn't my problem anymore. Through friends, I heard he was broke, jobless, back with his parents. I felt no sympathy. Choices have consequences. One morning, I stood by the window with coffee. Sunlight streaming across walls painted my favorite shade of blue. For years, I'd mistaken Ethan's charm for strength, compromise for peace. Now I knew the truth. Walking away wasn't failure, it was freedom. At brunch that weekend, Lauren asked, "So, what's next?" "Honestly, just focusing on me, maybe a mountain getaway, somewhere quiet." She smiled. "That's the Sarah I know." She was right. For the first time, my life was mine alone. That evening, I sat on the balcony, city lights flickering in the distance, glass of wine in hand. "To me," I whispered, "to starting over." And with that, I closed the chapter on Ethan, finally, for good.